How's everybody doing? Back on this Husqvarna. We actually get it running. It's been a work in progress for a while. As y'all know, it had bent push rods. Choke cable didn't work. I took a break from it for a while. Deck had to be adjusted. We put a new adjuster on the front, had to find that. Anyways, we get it running. As y'all see in the video, we get it running. And smoking like a freight train. I assumed it was because of the oil. Because of the oil that was on the exhaust and everything. Well, I go to back it up this morning and it didn't want to go. So I figured it was something else, maybe a train or something like that, but it also didn't have power. So that worried me. So I get it back in the shop and just quickly checked the oil while it was hot, and it looked like it didn't have no oil in it whatsoever. Still saw oil some places. So I let it sit today. Got in here tonight and it had a little bit of oil on the dipstick. That's why I was hopeful. And well, to add on to this whole fiasco, first off, before I even got it cranked, one of the top push rods wasn't adjusted quite right. So I was able to get it adjusted. Found out a new trick where you can just put the screwdriver in there where you can get top dead center. That worked out real great. A lot easier than trying to put my finger in there and get a compression stroke. But anyways, got that done. It still wasn't cranked. Fuel pump wouldn't go at all. Either the line was pinched, and it probably was. It did sit for a while. That's where I got this clamp right here. I just got it sitting there to maybe get to where it settled. But either way, that line was clogged. Fuel pump wouldn't work. Cleaned it out again, and finally cranked. I don't know if I did the choke wrong or something, but with the choke all the way out, it will run. I'm not sure if that's what I got to do some studying on that. I was hoping to get this thing freaking done, get it up for sale, get it out of here. Tired of looking at it. But anyways, like I said, it ran for a while. Got it in, thought it was out of oil. So tonight I got looking at it. I saw a couple new oil spots. And that's not from, I checked, as y'all see, I went ahead and just rechecked the push rods again, just to be sure, just to double check, make sure they didn't get unadjusted or popped out. They're good. And so that's where that oil's from. But I did see a couple drops. It might have a leak. Where? I don't know. There might be a leak. There might be a leak on this valve cover. I'm kind of looking at it to see if any new oil drops out, but I tighten those back in. Everything was kind of in a rush, put it back together when I did the valve cut, when I did the adjustment, so they might have been tightened down good. But I'm gonna let it sit, see if I can't put some new litter down, see if I can't find a leak. Pray to God the block ain't cracked. I don't think it is. When I put the lawnmower in here, that's one of the first things I checked. It's one of the first things I checked to see if it had oil in it. It had oil in it. It actually looked good. So if it does have a leak, I gotta find it. It only lost a quart, luckily. That's a lot, which it did run for a while. So again, I'm gonna call it a weekend. Get ready to go to work. Might mess with the Murray, and but I'm just ready to get this thing done, get out of here. Training does work, but I didn't have enough engine power to really check the deck. But the blades are sharpened. I got all that taken care of. The deck's leveled. It's not high as I would like it to be. I adjusted on it pretty much, but again, y'all saw it. It was strapped up this whole entire time, and the adjusters were all the way to the ground. So I adjusted the back end about 1/4 of an inch up, and of course with that new front, I got it adjusted all the way up. But other than that, if I can just figure out this oil leak, and still might need to do something on that carburetor. That might have been another reason why I didn't want to go, other than losing oil. But if it was only a quart low, I wouldn't have thought it would have lost power like it did. But so it didn't quit this time. Last time we got it running, I could not keep it running, and so I might have to do something like carb. I have to find out and get another one. I really haven't spent no money on this. I can't complain. I really haven't spent no money on it. It's just mostly just getting it going. I'm just tired of it being in the shop, and again, I gotta sell this thing to get working on those things. So I gotta get back on my blue truck. But little side note, which I got them hidden right now, but we have accumulated, I guess that would help. We have accumulated 3 more lawnmowers. So we're going to get working on those. Don't know if they run, don't know if they or anything. They came from one guy. He wanted them out of his yard, so we got them. So we'll see how them go. I'm fixing, like I said, I might start tinkering on this Murray. I've been wanting to do it all weekend, but I thought this would be quick just to get it back together. And I ended up spending 2 days on it. So I'm fixing to announce something in the Murray video. And I hate to say it, but we might have to turn this thing into a freaking playlist, just because I've been on it forever. Again, this thing sit for almost, I don't know how long, 5, 10, 20 years. I know it ain't that old, but it sit for a long time. And with no engine cover on it, I still like to find an engine cover. I mean, it's got the hood, but still. Didn't have no tires. The tires were falling, or the bearings were falling off of it. So the tires were off of it. The deck was falling. So it's been quite a project. I can't really complain. Again, I ain't really spent no money on it, but still, I just want to get it going. Get it going and get it out of the shop. Anyways, probably get back on it next weekend. And hopefully it will be a short video. If it's real short, I'll just put a clip on it on a short or something like that. But either way, appreciate you guys watching. If you have any tips, man, again, I'm a new, I don't know much about 2-cycle engines at all, or if you even call them 2-cycle engines anymore. That's got a, overhead valve, and so who knows. But either way, I don't know much about small engines at all. It's been a lot of YouTube and everything like that. So just to learn, that's how I found out about the finding top dead center with a screwdriver. That really helped. So anyways, guys, please like and share, subscribe if you can. And then of course check out channel13scustoms.com for some merch.
And find out where's the best place to have my shit. The last thing you can do before I go back on the body is make some so what I've done is take some 4x2 flat strap and put 2 holes in it, and I took some wood paper from the front side of the engine and trimmed it down and bolted it on. So this plate's going to sit inside of the frame on the bottom of the channel. I'll roll it in place and then I'll install these. welds at the end, like that. Do that on both sides.
All right, I'm gonna go over something real quick y'all didn't get to see. So as y'all know, the choke cable was stuck, so it's working now. But what y'all didn't get to see, and this is I had to fix it the way I had to fix it. But if you can see this rod right here, it was gone. Didn't have one. Not this one, I'm sorry, this one. It was gone. They did not have one. And you cannot order it. I looked everywhere for one. Cannot order it. So as y'all can see, I basically just made one out of some wire. And it works. As y'all saw in the video, it was running when I got it running smoothly. So that's the something to do with the choke, but it levels off the choke. But as y'all see, I just made one out of some wire, and that seems to work. Probably need to tighten that top one up, that top end up a little bit more. But